What's up, Colorado Realtors? I'm Scott Peterson. Thank you for joining me for another edition, an emergency, let's say, edition of Legal Bites. Let's see, it is Thursday, March 26th at about 11:40, and it's been a long, strange, 12 or 15 hours here with a lot of uncertainty and confusion since just yesterday evening the Governor Polis, issued a statewide executive order related to shelter in place or stay at home, essentially. And in that original executive order that was issued yesterday evening, real estate services were not included as a critical business or an essential service within the order. And that was last night. That's been this morning up until just literally about, 15 or 20 minutes ago. And so throughout the morning I've had, and yesterday evening I had just overwhelmed with, phone calls and texts and emails and myself directly, all of our staff members. It's been a crazy, 15 or so hours for everybody. And I know with a lot of uncertainty for you guys, questions related to, does this override the local executive orders that did include real estate services, and are we a financial service, and so on and so forth. And so the breaking news that occurred just minutes ago is that real estate services are now included in the amended public health order, which is what is referenced by the executive order and defines all of the critical businesses and services that are included. And so as of just, like I say, a few minutes ago, under number 7, financial and professional institutions, including what was added is professional services such as legal, title companies, or accounting services, real estate appraisals, and transactions. And so those words are pretty critical in terms of defining real estate brokerage services and transactions, appraisals, as critical businesses under the state order, which would be the equivalent of an essential service under some of the local orders that we've seen over the last few days. Again, all of those local orders are superseded by this state order, and so effective now, immediately, real estate services fall within that new critical business definition, and therefore would be considered an essential service and can be performed. As well as what's under the professional and financial services. And those, what was already there, were banks and credit institutions, insurance, and payroll. And so insurance, title companies would have fallen under that, and that was already the case. And then banks, credit unions would be lenders, obviously. So really the components of a real estate transaction, and specifically real estate transactions themselves, are critical businesses under the state order. So that just occurred. So anything you may have talked to me about in the last 15 hours, you can now toss out, because our government affairs team was advocating, and has been for a week or so, that real estate transactions be included. And that was successfully adopted, like I say, just minutes ago. Here's what I'd like for you to take away from this, though, is we've always, everything you guys do is an essential service. We realize the important pieces of driving the economy, the important pieces of working with consumers and buyers and sellers to handle their transactions. But this is not business as usual. This isn't intended to be business as usual, at least from my perspective and from a lot of people's perspective. And what I've seen over the course of the last week as we've been having this essential service discussion, a lot of our members, a lot of you guys have been demanding and really wanting to be qualified or classified as an essential service. I've also seen an awful lot of our members and members of the public, and I've seen this through Facebook posts and other sort of places out there, that this is ridiculous. You shouldn't be an essential service. And so it's a tenuous balancing act in terms of the services that you're going to select to provide. And I would encourage you guys, as you're utilizing in my webinar yesterday, I kind of mentioned, well, with great power comes great responsibility. It's a Spider-Man line that always sort of resonates with me. But it applies in this case. There are, open houses, you should be done with those at this point for the time being. I would argue that showings for a lot of buyers, probably not the most responsible behavior. And I'm not going to, I'll get off my soapbox. I'm going to leave you with this. Use this distinction as a critical business under the new state definition. Use it responsibly, and don't abuse it. Because it is a nice reflection of the Realtor Association's government affairs and advocacy efforts, but at the same time, it's just not meant to be used in a manner that's inconsistent with the personal and professional responsibility I think we all have to be trying to limit and control the spread of this nasty virus. So the only other thing I'll mention is that I think we're hoping at some point in the next day or so to get another executive order that would allow for remote notarizations in the state, and that might help curtail some of the person-to-person stuff as well. So look for that. If we get something, then I'll maybe be back on here in the next day or so with an update. But to the extent that we could suspend the in-person requirement for notaries in the state to actually notarize documents and other transactions for some period of time to get us through this virus, I think would be helpful. So we're working on that. Stay tuned there. And I think that's it. Legal Hotline is available, expanded hours today, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And it's getting hammered. So be patient if you're leaving a message. Somebody will get back to you. But hopefully all that helps and clears up some of the confusion. The executive order or the public order related to the executive order is going to be linked in the YouTube section below. So if you want to click on that and get a copy of it, that might give you some more information as well. All right, guys, thanks again for your patience as we're working through this incredibly fluid and changing environment that we're all living in right now. Take care out there. Stay healthy, guys.